Nobody is a criminal. Even if somebody is criminal, you and I, together we are creating criminals in the outside world. What is this concept of crime is created by social strain? The theory of structural strain. I'm talking about a popular sociologist. His name is Robert Kingsley Merton, R.K. Merton. In fact, this name R.K. Merton is not given to him by his parents. He himself chooses this name. He starts his early life like a magician. Later, he becomes one of the most popular sociologists out there.
Hello, students. A very warm welcome once again. And today we will be talking about this person. Although this name was not given to him by his parents, in fact, his name is a typical Russian name because he is coming from the Russian descendant family. His father was a carpenter. So he is basically one of those sociologists who never had any influential people around him. He never saw power. He was never born with a silver spoon. Because if you look at the other thinkers that probably we have looked into, they all come from a very affluent section of the society. For example, Emile Durkheim was coming from a very respectable family. They were the Jewish pundits coming from the rabbi clan. If you look at Talcott Parson, he was coming from a very respected freedom fighter, patriotic, nationalistic kind of a family. And how can you forget Max Weber comes from a very supreme bureaucratic family. So compared to all the other sociologists who have made the contribution up till now, they come from an affluent section. But Robert K. Merton is coming from the slums of America. In fact, this title has been given to him that he was a very poor sociologist. But I would also say that he was a very lucky sociologist at the same time. Why was he lucky? We'll talk about it later on. But R.K. Merton was not the name that was given to him, but rather this was the name that he took up. He took up the name Merlin because he wanted to be a magician. But later on, people told him that the word Merlin looks like a very feminine, a girlish kind of a name. So from Merlin, he changed it to Merton. So R.K. Merton is the name that he used for his magic stage shows. Who is this person? He has basically studied, he was born in the state of Pennsylvania and he studied from the Columbian University. His father was a poor guy. He, in fact, lived into poverty into his early ages. But after World War II, we get to see R.K. Merton becomes very realistic the way he is trying to bring rationality. In fact, he has tried to criticize all the previous predecessors who have come before. He is telling that Durkheim is trying to explain the society, but his concept of functionalism doesn't make sense. He also says that I am inspired. I consider Talcott Parson to be my teacher, but he is also not giving a rationality into the concept of sociology. In fact, his concept of sociology is based a lot on the rational principles of logic. So he is known as a person who wants to study small social issues, and therefore he is linked with an empirical research. If I'm not able to do any kind of research, I will not study those areas. So he is neither going to one extreme end. He says that Durkheim has went to an extreme end. Karl Marx, who is not even a sociologist, has also tried to do an extreme end. So rather than going to extremity, let's try to be a mediocre, let's try to be an average kind of a person. So his approach towards sociology, like an average discipline, like a rational discipline, he gets the title to be called as middle range theories. In fact, he criticized functionalism so much that his branch in sociology, it is also called to be as neo-functionalism. This is one of my favorite topics that we have. How neo-functionalism is basically a new type of functionalism. He criticizes and he brings different terms over here, such as dysfunction, non-function, functional equilibrium, functional alternatives. These are the different terms that he has introduced. But I'm not going to go into the details of neo-functionalism. Let me just talk about the important areas that we are having in the UPSC. And first of all, he comes and tells all the concepts of functionalism that has been highlighted. They are talking about something which is not so easy to achieve. If you ask the Kenian lens or the Kim's perspective, he would say World War One, World War Two is a good phenomenon. Like, what is good about it? Because of World War One, World War Two, new world order came. League of Nations was created. United Nations was established. Countries have able to come together. New order was established, which has brought an open economy. The colonialism had come to an end. The new globalization became. So, functionalism will talk about the phenomena which are only good things. But Merton says, okay, I understand there might be good things, but where is the concept in which you are discussing only the good things is not the complete picture? You're only giving a partial picture. So good phenomena, the bad phenomena, both of them must be equally studied. Why are you talking about the things which are like an obvious things? We also need to talk about those things which are not obvious, that we are not able to see with our naked eye. So as a sociologist, you are not supposed to only talk about those phenomena which are obvious and everybody knows it. These phenomena are called to be as the manifest phenomena. But those elements which are hidden, those elements which are subdued, they are considered to be as unintentional, they are considered to be as unintended, they are present in a subconscious mind. So these phenomena are called to be as the latent function. For example, a child goes to a school. What is the obvious reason? What is the manifest reason that they go to school? The manifest reason is they are there to get good education. I understand this, everybody knows this. But do you know, when a child goes to school, they also learn this concept of capitalism. They also learn this concept which is hidden itself, that if you go to school, you will have a white collar job. If you don't go to a school, you will have a blue collar job. So basically, tomorrow, if you want to be rich, you have to go to a school. Tomorrow, if you don't go to a school, it's very obvious that you will remain like a poor person. This ideology is basically a capitalistic ideology. This is not obvious. This is basically like a hidden curriculum. So Karl Marx says it's like a hidden curriculum. These say like this. Marx, like this, there are many hidden phenomena in our society at different. Go and find those latent phenomena. Go and find those unintended consequences which are present. So latent and manifest is one. And then he talks about the concept of conformity and deviance. He says if any person is conforming to the rules and regulations of the society, I understand it's a good thing. But if a phenomena is present as bad, why is this phenomena present as bad? For this also society is responsible. It is because of the social structure. And if a person is doing a crime, or if a person is doing any kind of deviation from the rules and the norms of society, it is basically because of society, it's because of the structural strain, it's a social strain. And he goes and talks about four types of crimes. I'm not going to talk about in detail about this, it's an outline video. So I will just say there are four types of crimes that he has highlighted: innovative deviance, ritualistic, rebellion, retreat is different types of deviances. And then he talks about the concept of reference groups, in which people not just associate themselves with membership groups, they also associate themselves with those groups which are called to be as the non-membership groups. These are those groups which you are not a part of. For example, you are not a part of the Vasna community, so but you see yourself and you try to imagine, I wish I was here. If you want to be a cricketer, you will look in the men in the blue and then you like, wish I'm here. If you like to be an actor, there are non-membership groups for you. If you want to become a designer, maybe some kind of Milan function or Milan fashion show might be one of your. If you want to go towards a fast track batch and get some good neat answer, something like that could be like a reference. One way of society is to focus on membership groups. Merton says study the membership groups, yes, but you also need to study the non-membership groups. These pink circles are the non-membership groups. They are called to be as the reference groups. So here, what are the different phenomena that Merton has contributed? One phenomena is called to be as the concept of neo-functionalism, where he talks about three important domains that functionalism must have. It is only talking about good phenomena. He brings the concept of dysfunctionalism. functional alternatives, non-functionality, etc. And then talks about the obvious phenomena and also talks about the hidden phenomena. Obvious phenomena are manifest, hidden phenomena are called to be as latent functions. Then he talks about why the crime is happening in the society. Crime is happening because people are deviating from those norms. What is that deviation? It's a theory of structural strain. So this theory of conformity and deviance is also called to be a theory of structural strain. And then how do we broadly understand the society, not just to focus on membership groups, also focus on non-membership groups. So what is Merton's contribution? He was a person coming from a poor family, but he later becomes the president of American Sociological Association. These are the three topics that he has highlighted. This is a detailed outline what we have, and these are some previous year questions that I want you to go write it down, put it, send me those important answers after I will evaluate it for you. We will take it in the live sessions that we are having. Explain manifest and latent functions with examples. You know what is manifest and latent? It's a very direct question. I would say it's a very easy question. 1 star out of 5. So easy it is. Discuss Merton's concept of anomy. This concept was brought by Durkheim, but he popularized it. So, what is the concept of anomy? It is nothing but a form of a deviance. Critically examine middle range theory. He says if you want to study those phenomena which you can study in the reality world. It must be empirical, it must be measurable, and you must try to solve issues. He has got an issue centric approach. This is called to be as the middle range theories. Don't talk about extremities like how Parson, Weber, and Durkheim are trying to speak. That's it in our today's class. So this is Merton that we are having. In the next video, I will be talking to you about who is the father of sociology. He is not given separately in your syllabus, but I will be talking to you about the contribution which has been given by August Comte. I will see you in the next one. Have a nice day. Tata. Bye bye.